Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Krashy, and today we are diving into this website, Game With. It's a Japanese website that is giving us some information on the upcoming Pokemon LEAFEON. So it's got a lot of information in here. Let's go ahead and scroll down and dive in. So the Pokemon is a Speedster, and I had Chris on the side, so big shout outs to Chris and his chat for giving me this link because I didn't actually know how to find it, and he was kind of going over it, but I was like pseudo listening because I wanted to kind of go over it myself a little bit, but I do know a bit about how it works. So LEAFEON is a Speedster type Pokemon, and the translation is going to be a little bit weird. That's specializes in surprise attacks. Her moves are derived at levels 4 and 6. She learns Unite moves at level 8. Her special traits and enhanced attacks allow her to quickly approach her opponents, and her skill can inflict great damage on them. So I have to assume that LEAFEON is going to be physical or like attack focused and not special attack. I would assume that, considering it's a Speedster and we don't have any like SP Speedster outside of Gengar, who's I feel like for Gengar it makes a little bit more sense because they are actually, you know what? Now that I think about it, I was going to say Gengar is like more of like a caster Speedster. You know, it's like melee caster. So it's like a really unique design. But actually, this could still be SP attack. So I guess we'll find out. But in the video, they're using Razor Claw right here. So I'm assuming it's physical. They're using Float Stone and Razor Claw. So to me, it makes sense that this Pokemon would be physical. But now that I think about it, Gengar kind of breaks that convention. So I guess we'll find out. Yeah. But yeah, the same leveling convention, 4, 6, 8. And let's find out about the passive. When you're not in the grass, the gauge builds up. When the gauge is full, movement speed increases. So when you fill up the gauge, normal attacks become enhanced. If you use a powerful attack, you'll get closer to the opponent. Therefore, it becomes easier to hit the opponent with the technique. Basically, it's important to use LEAFEON to build up the gauge and act as it approaches the opponent with enhanced attacks. Okay, so it buffs your attacks. It probably buffs one of your moves too, because that's what it seems like they're trying to say through the translation. But I guess we'll find out. So Emerald Double Beat is the Unite move. Is that what they're using here? So it looks like a targeted, let me see. It looks like so it's a sure hit targeted like jump and dash. So it's kind of like Sylveon's, but it's like sure hit. And it's a little bit faster, and you kind of just like slam down on them. So pounce on the target Pokemon, dealing damage and slowing their movement speed. After that, it jumps up and lands vigorously, dealing damage to the opposing Pokemon within the range. Yeah, so it's like you target and hit opponent, and then you slam down and hit an area. Okay, more damage to the center. LEAFEON's Unite move is a surefire move that pounces on the target and inflicts additional damage. When landing, it deals damage to opposing Pokemon within its attack range. It's very easy to use Unite move. Basically, it always hits. Yeah, that's what the sure hit moves do. Okay, combination that emphasizes mobility, Leafcutter, and I'm not sure what this other move type is called. Leafcutter is a technique that attacks by throwing leaves in a fan shape from the spot. Blank, the name, is a technique that quickly moves in a specified direction. It's a combination that deals a lot of damage to the enemy quickly by approaching with a strength attack, attacking with Leafcutter, and falling back with... Okay, so let's take a look at what it looks like they do. So the first move... Oh gosh, it's actually really hard to dissect this. I see you like throw out leaves, and then they stay there, you see? And then it looks like reactivation pulls them back. So we have like a dash move or something. I can't tell what this move right here is. It's a dash move, and it looks like it has multiple charges. So yeah, you have some kind of a dash. So you throw leaves out, you throw leaves at them, and then you like dash. If you can get like behind them and position yourself well, you can pull the leaves in. Okay, so that's like a burst mobility move set. Okay, that seems interesting. That seems like it could be good. Inherently by design, I imagine this one's not going to be the one that's the better move set, because it seems pretty niche to me. But I guess we'll find out. So, all right, and then this is another clip of it. You can see they throw the leaves out and then they just pull them back. Okay. So yeah, you have like a dash move that has multiple charges, and then you have a fan of leaves that you can reactivate and pull back to you. Okay, Leafcutter fires 5 leaves in a specified direction, dealing damage to your opponent's Pokemon. The leaves are stuck in the ground for a short time, but if you use the move again, you can return the leaves to yourself and damage the opposing Pokemon that you hit along the way. After a certain amount of time has passed, since it hits the ground, it will do more damage. If all 5 leaves hit a Pokemon, you get a shield effect. Oh wow, that's interesting, because you have to like position for that. Then it's gonna be interesting. If all 5 leaves hit a Pokemon, it's not like the Pokemon. So in a team fight, as long as you throw it in a good spot, you should be able to get a shield effect out of that. That seems interesting. Leafcutter is a move that shoots 5 leaves by using it after approaching a Pokemon with a strengthened attack. It becomes easier to hit 5 leaves. The shield effect has 2 chances to get when you fly the leaves first and when you turn them. Oh, okay. So yeah, it's either which way. Okay. Swallow Replacement. It slashes with a quick movement, inflicting damage to the opponent's Pokemon, increasing the damage of your next normal attack. And using this move, the maximum number of times you can move can be held is 2. So yeah, this is just the dash. So it slashes with quick movement, inflicting damage to the Pokemon, increase damage to your next normal attack. So yeah, it's an auto empower, and it's a slash. Okay, so it makes pretty much sense. Is a move technique that can be held twice. So yeah, you can hold 2 charges. Also, leaving one out of the 2 times unused will be easier to escape when the enemy suddenly approaches. Yep. All right, so now let's look at Solar Blade and Leaf Blade. So this is the one that I was like watching Chris pay attention to. It's like an Aegislash ult, but it's like a Leaf Solar Blade, which I've never heard of Solar Blade before in Pokemon, but yeah, it's very much so like a coup de grace kind of knockdown, and then you have like this dash and slash. So full gauge, coup de grace kind of move, dash and slash. So let's go ahead and look at it. So Solar Blade is a powerful ranged attack. It says when you use this move, the sword begins to fill with light. If you use the move again after you begin to fill it with light, you will swing your sword down on a specified direction, dealing damage to your opposing Pokemon. The longer the light stays in, the more damage it does. If you use it when your gauge is full, you can immediately swing down your sword with maximum damage, and the waiting time in using this move will be shortened. So bigger gauge means faster slam down of the Solar Blade, and then lower cooldown. Did they say anything about what the gauge does with these other moves? Because surely it has to work for multiple movesets, right? What do they call it? The something gauge. Let me see if they have anything about that in these moves, because surely it has to do something for you know, it has to do something for these other moves, or maybe they're just like excluding that. But interesting to see what the gauge all does exactly. So Solar Blade, like Lucario's Glow Punch, increasing damage by charging the gauge. So use it after charging it for a certain period of time. You use it with the gauge full. Not only will you be able to use it at maximum charge immediately, but the waiting time for the move will be shortened. Yep. All right, and Leaf Blade can fill the gauge. So after dashing, slash the surrounding with sharp leaves while spinning, dealing damage. Hitting a leaf does more damage than to the inside, giving a slowing effect, and fills the power gauge. Okay, so yeah, they didn't really mention the power gauge much on the other moveset, like at all. But now I want to go back and watch it to see if any of this fills the gauge. Now the gauge gets consumed at some point. But when was that? The gauge doesn't get consumed on the leaves. Does it get consumed on the dash? Let's look at it. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what the gauge does for this moveset. It's hard to say because they don't specifically talk about it. Yeah, interesting. It doesn't get the gauge doesn't get consumed when you pull the leaves back. Maybe it gets consumed if you're full gauge and you dash through someone, because it doesn't look like that ever happens in this footage. Maybe right here it looks like it almost happens, but they might miss this dash. You see how they don't hit them with it? So who knows? Yeah, it's hard to say what the dash does or what the gauge does with this moveset, but I guess that's something that we'll have to figure out along the way. So yeah, this Leaf Blade fills the gauge, and then the actual Solar Blade comes down and utilizes the benefits. So very interesting. Leaf Blade can fill the power gauge when it hits. Therefore, it's very compatible with Solar Blade. It's a useful move when approaching enemies and avoiding enemy attacks. And then these are compatible items. So yeah, definitely going to be an attack Pokemon. We'll check out this. We'll check out this build in the future, right, and see if it's what we like. Energy Amplifier, I could definitely see it. I mean, you're going to get the guaranteed sure hit, and then you slam down and do damage, so you just do more damage. And yeah, there you go. Interesting. They list other compatible items as Focus Lens, or Focus Scope Lens. I couldn't think of the name of it, but we'll have to see if there's any moves that can crit, so that'll definitely be something that gets tested. And very interesting. Leafeon looks like a really fun speedster to play. I'm bewildered by this other moveset over here, because it already just by design doesn't look like the better moveset, but I also can't tell what the gauge does with it. So really interesting. So we'll have to take a look at that. The ultimate looks just guaranteed like you're going to do some awesome damage. So that's cool. And yeah, friends, let me know what you think in the comment section down below about LEAFEON. I think the Pokemon looks pretty cool. It looks pretty fun. Hopefully it's a speedster that actually has some staying power in the meta, because there's really not that many of them. There's like, what, maybe 1 or 2 that are pretty decent. And otherwise, yeah, we got some Umbreon stuff at some point. I haven't even seen the kit for that, but I saw this website, saw Chris was looking at it, and decided to take a look. So friends, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Drop a like on the video, subscribe for future Pokemon Unite content here on the Krashy channel, because I'm posting videos every single day. And as always, be sure to be kind to one another. Tell someone you love them. And I'll see you on the next video.